Hello everyone, it's Abysmii again. I'm doing a tutorial that I said I would do a very long time ago. This is going to be a little kind of an in-between of the other info rants while I sort out if I have anything else to say in the info rants. They were never meant to be a permanent installation. I just wanted to kind of highlight the problems with the narration community, and I don't want to repeat myself or, just make the videos for the sake of making them. So I'm going to do this to kind of be positive and help people. I see a lot of people using Audacity, which is, of course, in front of you right now on the screen. It's a free program. It's quite powerful if you know how to use it, and I think it's great. It's being improved upon all the time. If you can't buy a special recording software like Adobe Audition, or if you don't have a DAW like me, like FL Studio, this is perfectly fine. It'll get the job done, no problem. Has a lot of good tools. So I just want to do a quick tutorial, nothing special, just to show everyone the tips and tricks that I learned using it in my first kind of year of doing audio stuff a few years ago, just to, kind of improve your quality. So yeah, here we go. So this is the first episode of Raw Dog Readings I ever recorded. I recorded it on Audacity just because it was easy and I was still working out how to do it in FL Studio properly. It's about 20 minutes long, I think. I don't think I edited much out of this, for all I know. I think I just recorded and then exported to Wave and did the editing in FL Studio. But this is a great example of usually what my recordings look like. So yeah, here you go. That's everything kind of far away, everything close up. You can zoom in pretty far to kind of really pinpoint things if you want to correct certain areas of audio. But more importantly, here we have just everything. Let's play a bit of it. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a off-the-cuff cold reading of a creepypasta for fun. I don't know where I'll put this, maybe on SoundCloud or something. So if you look up here, at the playback level, you can see that I was kind of clipping at, not clipping, the peak was about -9 decibels below zero. That's not bad. Typically you want to be around 15 to 9 comfortably. I try to get around 9 to 6. I'll show you, well, I don't know if I will, but basically I have special software that allows me to limit exactly where the audio is peaking, and I put it at -3. And the reason for this is, and I'll go into more detail about this, is that you want to record comfortably between this kind of range. Anything below that's a bit too quiet. Anything above that's going to be really harsh. You don't want to go above -1 ever. It's bad. It sounds bad. It'll create a lot of problems you can't really undo. But anyway, I was kind of around 15 to 9, and we can better refine that. So I'm going to go through the steps of everything you should do once you are done recording. And of course, if you're recording, try to be in a room with 4 walls. I'm not recording in a room with 4 walls because my apartment has a weird layout, so you're probably going to hear some reverb. But yeah, you want to record in a room or a closet. You want to have a lot of sound dampening material. It doesn't have to be that special foam you see. It can be a bunch of clothes. It can be mattresses, pillows, whatever. Something to absorb the sound as it bounces off the walls after it leaves your mouth. You want to, of course, try to not have noisy neighbors if possible, but hey, I mean, some stuff you just can't get around. So yeah, I have this little gap right here because this allows me to isolate the background noise that's existing in anyone's space. It's never completely quiet. There's always some white noise, some sound somewhere. Yeah, the human ear may not be able to pick it up, but it is happening. So what I like to do is you go to Effect, you go to Noise Reduction, Get Noise Profile. Ignore the stuff right now. Get Noise Profile. All right, it has it. I like to hit Control A just to select everything. Go back to Effect, do Noise Reduction again. And now we're going to be doing this. So what we've done is we've isolated just the dead air. That will be, the outside noise, the freeway I live next to, maybe your air conditioner, although do turn your air conditioner off. It'll help bring down ambient noise you don't want bleeding through. on your narrations or your voiceover or whatever you're doing. Now, this step 2 here, this is kind of up to, not interpretation, but it will vary due to a lot of factors. Your voice, where you're recording, what type of microphone you're recording on. And so these settings I use are not going to be necessarily what's best for you. You're going to have to play around with this. But typically what I like to do is noise reduction between 10 and 15. It depends. You're going to have to play around with it. So we're going to do, let's do 15. Sensitivity, again, it depends. We'll leave it at 6 because why not? And then the frequency smoothing might be okay for here. I haven't really used this much since I got a new microphone and a new setup, and I have software that can, uses algorithms to much better guess at the best levels, so I don't have to do it because it's a nice shortcut. And as long as you know what noise reduction is, using software that has shortcuts is perfectly fine if it achieves what you're looking for. But yeah, let's just do this. So we're going to do reduce. We're going to reduce sound. That's at about basically what we isolated here. We're going to reduce it at these parameters. So about 15 decibel reduction. That should be good. Let's see. So we're going to hit OK. And it's going to take a little bit. If you're recording a very long story, this of course will take a long time, but it's only about 20 minutes, so we should be all right. And we're done. Cool. Now you probably can't hear anything, but let's see here. Watch the levels up here. Yeah, there was a little click, there's a little blip, but everything else seems dead. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a... Yeah, no. So we basically took out a lot of that ambient sound, so in the parts between where the words are, you're not going to hear anything. Which day? Which is great, because it's, sorry, I spoke over myself. It's noticeable, and I apologize for all the mouth noises. I have a really bad dry mouth right now. This really goes a long way to eliminating hum, electrical noise, all sorts of things that experienced listeners will be able to hear. And it's, again, this is free software, and this is something you can do for free, and it'll help improve just your quality so much. Right, so we've done noise reduction. Step 2, I like to do, the order of this kind of depends on who you talk to, but the important thing is that you normalize. Now, these are pretty much, you can just leave these as they are. These are fine, at least for most setups, but what's important is -1 decibels. So what this is going to do is it's going to, as you can see, bring all of the waveforms, or not the waveforms, the readouts to, you can see everything kind of expand and get bigger. It's going to bring everything up, but nothing is going to go past -1 decibels, as I was talking about previously. You'd never want to pass -1 decibels. That's when it clips, a term you may have heard. It blares out, it's too loud, it just sounds like shit. Unless you're like purposefully doing ear rape, YouTube poop, you don't want to do that. No one likes how that sounds. So we'll hit yes, and it's gonna take a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, everything has gotten a lot bigger, a lot louder. It's been amplified. Now let's listen to how that sounds. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a off the cuff. So as you can see, you can hear everything a bit more. You can hear the reverb from my room because I don't have 4 walls. And if you are watching up here, watch this readout again. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. It was, it's up to just below -3 now. You have the little yellow indicator that it's getting close to blaring out. Now, the reason I like to keep that loud is because of YouTube compression. Now, we're going to go over the compressor next, but I want to say this. The reason I keep this on the loudish side but not blaring out is because when you upload something to YouTube, YouTube automatically compresses. It automatically takes a little bit of the bitrate away from your recordings, be they video, audio, or both, to account for file size. And when that happens, it's basically turning a WAV file, which is a lossless format, it's, the raw file, into an MP3 level. And the difference between the two is audio quality. It will not be as loud, there will be certain elements missing, If you ever want to hear the difference, just look up a YouTube thing on WAV versus MP3. It's pretty easy to tell after you train your ears a little bit. But whenever you upload to YouTube, it will always be quieter, at least in some small way, than your original raw audio file. So if you have it a little bit on the louder side, by the time it gets to YouTube, it's still at a good level, and people aren't going to be jacking up their volume sliders on either YouTube itself or on their computer, and it's a better listening experience for your audience, which is why I do that. So now let's move on to compression. Compression in Audacity, and well, all audio editing that is, basically is going to smooth all this out. So as you can see, it's a little bit jagged. We have a lot of peaks here. Nothing's really at the same level, and you want to make everything as same and as level as possible because you want your listeners to hear a consistent volume the entire time. And you want to bring up, like, you know, whispers that still sound like whispers, but you don't want your audience to strain to hear it. This isn't perfect, of course, especially with longer recordings. Sometimes you need better software or just more training, but you can do a lot, again, just with Audacity. So let's go to Effect after I've selected everything, Compressor. Again, this is kind of intimidating, and these settings are not perfect for everybody. They're really not. Play around with this, and, you know, remember, try to save this as a default, or, you know, write down what you're doing, because what's here is not always going to work for you at home. It varies from setup to setup. Anyway, with a threshold, so basically negative 12 decibels, what this compressor is going to do is that anything below 12, anything that passes above negative 12 decibels is going to be compressed. It's called a gate, I guess. If it goes through negative 12 is the gate, it's going to activate the compressor. The noise floor is at negative 40, so that's kind of the lowest it's going to allow. I'm sorry, there's a better way of explaining this, and as much as practice I've had with it, I still can't explain compression very well, so, you know, please look up a tutorial or something else that better explains exactly what's happening here. But it'll make more sense when we actually apply the compression and we see what happens with the readout. Ratio is 2:1, so I guess for every 2 decibels it's over the threshold, it'll reduce it by 1, I think is what's happening. So this 2:1's okay. 1.5:1's okay. Again, really depends on what your setup is, you know. Make this as much or as little as possible. It just makes sure it makes sense for you. Let's do 1.5:1. Attack and release. Try to have my attack at, I don't know, 100, release. Actually, sorry, no, 1. Kind of like 4. And here's the other thing. This compressor is different from the compressor that I use in FL Studio. So, you know, let's leave this at the defaults, because there are different types of compressors. Whatever. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll achieve what I'm trying to show you. So look at the readout, and then watch what happens after compression. And of course, it's going to take time. But we're done. Kind of hard to see, but it has shortened a lot of the peaks. Not the really vicious ones, of course, but enough to fact that there's a noticeable change. So a lot of this has been smoothed out. The highs have been taken to -1, no higher than -1, I should say, and the lows have been brought up as well. So everything's a little bit better. Let's listen to how it sounds. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a off-the-cuff cold reading of a creepypasta. So now it's speaking at about between -6 and -9. So not perfect. I'd have to play around with these settings a bit more to, you know, kind of find out exactly where the sweet spot is. But you can see what's happened here. So noise removal, normalization, compression. Those 3 tools used in conjunction with each other make for a much better listening experience and much clearer audio. Now the next thing is kind of tricky, especially when it's your first time using it. Equalization. Do I have any plosives here? I don't really think I do. A plosive is hard P's, D's, T's, stuff like that, which hopefully, I mean, I have a pop filter, but I'm kind of, really forcing them through. Plosives will show up as a very strange, I don't think I have any here. I apologize. But a good way to deal with plosives is equalization, or EQ, as a lot of people abbreviate it. And not just for mistakes, but just for your overall sound. And to explain that, I'm going to switch over to FL Studio really, really quick here. So I've already loaded in the kind of final, I've already loaded in the final, or just the kind of the raw MP3, so you're going to hear it here. But I want you to watch this window right here. This is a live readout of the EQ, or equalization. This is low to high frequency, so watch what happens. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a off-the-cuff cold reading. So the human voice strikes a lot of different parameters. Unlike musical notes, unlike synthesizer sounds that typically are made to encompass a more narrow range, the human voice goes all over the place. We'll watch it again. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a off-the-cuff cold reading. So yeah, usually kind of within 632 hertz to 2936 hertz. Typically in this range, but like lower voices will show up around here, higher voices around here. Depending on your mic, my mic's a Rode NT1. It tends to favor this mid-range here, kind of 4 to 5. I'm just gonna say 4 to 5 because that's easy to see. Your Blue Yetis will kind of be more around here. My old AT2020 from USB mic from Audio-Technica was kind of around here. So it depends on your mic, and it's important to know where it's favoring your vocals, because you want to enhance where the human voice resides and lower it where it doesn't. So I'm going to show you something really quick that you can't do here. You can do in FL Studio, but you can't do in Audacity, unfortunately, but hopefully it'll help kind of illustrate. So I'm doing a high pass on the low. So as you can see, the lower frequencies of my voice are going to be cut off. I'm going to bring down this as well, because this will cut out a little bit of the reverb. And I'll just kind of put this up a little bit. Let's see how that sounds. Hey everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing a off-the-cuff cold reading of a creepypasta for fun. I don't know where I'll put this, maybe on SoundCloud or something. I don't really have a channel to upload it to on YouTube, but whatever. And yeah, it is My Little Pony SNES from the... So as you could probably hear, there were different aspects of my voice being amplified and decreased there. The more I jacked things up, the louder the reverb came through. The more I used this low pass over here and kind of lessened it, the deeper my voice got, or the more bass you could hear. You want to find a sweet spot, and again, that's going to depend on all the factors I spoke about. But you want to typically have this area being prominent, because this is what the human ear picks up best when it comes to the human voice. And that's currently where it resides. So, play around with that. Now, unfortunately, you can't really do what I just did with Audacity. You can't get a live readout. These monitors, unless they added something I'm unaware of, this is the only live readout information you're going to get. So, let's see here. The best way... you're going to have to play trial and error with it. So if we go to equalization, they have some presets, which is kind of nice. Bass boost, so those lower regions will be will be boosted. Bass cut, like that low pass filter I was talking about, it's going to cut out the lower frequencies. Treble boost, treble cut, and a lot of these other things are, just kind of weird. Want to sound like an AM radio or a walkie-talkie or whatever. So let's do bass cut. So it's cutting it at 300, as you can see right here. That's where it starts to fall off, but that's a bit much. Let's go to... Okay, come on. No. Why you gotta be like this? This changed from the last time I did it. Come here. Kind of, what the oh my god, sorry. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It's a little bit weird using the equalization tool in in Audacity. I'm not a big fan of it, so whatever. But anyway, okay, so we're at like what, 140 hertz. Let's do okay. And applying equalization. Yeah, you can already see a change there. Let's see if you can hear it. Everybody, it's Abysmii. I am doing. That's a little too much, so we're gonna undo that. Yeah, again, I wanted it at 100, not 130. But if you have a really deep voice, maybe that's what you would need. Who knows? So let's do another one. So bass cut. Find out where the low is that you want to cut off. Treble cut's the same. It's just at the upper register over here. And, you know, I don't want mine that high. Let's try this. It's probably going to sound like shit, but whatever. Hi, everybody. It's Abyss. Yep, sounds like crap. Thought so, yeah. It's kind of a weird tool you'll have to get used to. But, yeah. You can hear how much it was changing my voice, and you need to find that sweet spot. Especially if you have kind of a lower tier microphone. It's not going to pick up as much a range as the more expensive microphones, which does not mean that don't use a bad microphone. If I had to make a suggestion, avoid getting a Blue Yeti. I know I joke about it, and it's, you know, it's kind of it's a meme to hate on Blue Yeti, but if you're gonna save up your money, save up an extra $50. It may even be the same price now. Get an Audio-Technica 2020. Get that USB mic. It's just better quality. It's better made. It has better sound quality to it. I would encourage you to do that because you're gonna save yourself a lot of editing time if you do that. That's my advice. If you know you really can't, you got to use the Blue Yeti. Fine. But understand that there are tools in Audacity and other audio editing programs that are going to help you, and definitely use them to make your voice sound as much as possible. Don't just skip these steps. Using shortcuts that do the step for you is fine, but don't skip these steps that I'm talking about if you want to stand out from everyone else who is kind of just throwing this stuff together and, you know, just getting it out as quick as possible. There is a big difference in the sound. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is how you should export. I already said that I try to keep it on the louder side because basically if you upload a wave file, which is lossless, meaning it's retaining as much raw data as possible and a pretty high bit rate, if you upload that to YouTube, it almost takes it down to MP3, which is a pre-compressed bitrate. It's a lower quality audio file. The reason you buy MP3s is because waves are big. They are much bigger file sizes than MP3s, and just, you know, selling those is not good because they eat up your, you know, your phones and your storage space pretty quickly. However, if you're going to upload something and you're going to put it in a video, use the high quality. I know it's a pain, but use it. It'll get compressed down and it'll still sound pretty decent if you follow these steps. A lot of my music, I think all of my music that I put out for free, I'm hosting, the download site hosts the high quality waves because people tend to use them in videos. Or if they're going to listen to them, they probably just listen to them online and they just stream them. But if you're, you know, I release those big files, the wave files, because I want them to sound good. I want, you know, if someone's going to use my music in a video, I don't want to detract from their video's quality. And you should too. You know, they don't have to be like 24-bit super big. 16 I think is fine. 32 is way too much for this type of thing, but that's what I encourage you to do. And in here we're going to, let's see, export audio. Yeah, I've got it wave 16-bit, which is, you know, 32 is huge. You don't need to do that. You know, there's all these other options, but I think you're fine with either FLAC or the 16-bit wave. And yeah, you just save it like that. What else? What else? Little things. Just I'm not going to do a full intro to Audacity. There's plenty of other things that do that. I'm not going to go through all of these tools and such. I just wanted to tell everybody these little audio editing tricks. But let's see. Your input. Our mic input is going to really depend on what you're using. I think I'm fine. I have an audio interface, so I'm already altering the amplitude that goes into my computer from my microphone. But if you're just doing a USB, you know, try to start at 50 and see how it sounds and mess with it as you need to. This is just playback. Record in mono. 44.1 is fine for the hertz. You don't need to record in stereo. And if you're collabing with people, a lot of people want mono because it's basically the signal is perfectly centered. It's not on the left or the right of your hearing. And you want the vocals to be front and center. You want other things to happen around it so it kind of envelops your vocals and nothing's overpowering anything. You can record in stereo if you really want. It's not, if you don't have too many sources of audio, it's not that bad, but it's just a good practice, especially if you're going to be collaborating with other people. And let's see, this is your gain, which you really shouldn't have to mess with unless you're putting everything into Audacity. If you're loading in your music here, you're editing your audio in here, and then you're putting it in there, you may want to mess with this a bit, or just make sure that your music is properly has the gain and your levels at the right place. This is, of course, left and right panning. Don't mess with that. It should be in the center, unless you have something that specifically calls for, I heard it on the left side, and then you cue some audio and you pan it to the left so it sounds like it's in the left ear. What else? That's really it. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. You can, look up the help section, look at tutorials to tell you everything else. That's all I wanted to do. But yeah, if you guys have any other further detailed questions, let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks again.